Hey guys, this is your friendly neighborhood Scorpion, and welcome to this first episode of my new series called Vintage Game Night. For this series I'll go into my game collection and find a game that is at least 10 years old. And for this first episode I've really gone deep into the treasure chest and found Dungeon Keeper. And yeah, of course it's not that crappy mobile game that came out 3 years ago, but the original from '97, which means this is almost 20 years now. Before installing this game tonight, it's been well past 10 years since I've played this game, so I'm really looking forward to actually seeing if it still holds up. Now let's get this show on the road. Start new game. In this game you actually do get to play as the monsters, the bad guys, and you have to corrupt and dig all the gold you can and keep it out of the hands of the knights. And this first level is set in Eversmile. In order to succeed in Dungeon Keeper, you want to make your dungeon as powerful as possible, and you do that by mining all of the gold. And you want to have a nice little treasury as well to keep all the gold in. Because without gold in this game you can do diddly squat. At the start of each level you'll have to expand your dungeon as you see fit, and you'll see here while I'm clearing out the gold I'm making room for a hive. But let's skip ahead for a bit, because I had a lot of fun mapping out my dungeon, but looking at it might not be quite as interesting. That's better. On the right you see my hive for the monster accommodations, and on the left side, well, the monsters need to eat, so I'm hatching some nice little chicken thingies. And while doing this, I've also made my way over to the portal, and the portal is what actually gives me new monsters, so that is quite useful, and you want to get that unlocked as soon as you can. At this point I actually felt strong enough to go and take care of the noble knights, so I whipped up my imps to dig away into the unknown. Now, after digging for 15 minutes like a freaking madman, I realized my first huge noob mistake in this game. My hive and hatchery was not expanded to the right level, so stupid me. And here you see me actually notice what I had to do, so I could actually progress. That was fucking lame. While digging though, I noticed that I could take control of one of my minions, which has really annoying inverted controls, which is why you see me make this little dance. But it's actually kind of cool that you can go ground level inside your own dungeon. Though I do think this was the only time I actually did it. I think it's about time for the fun part though. You see here the noble folk of Eversmile try to take my dungeon and my gold, but I'm just not having it. So it's here you deploy your monsters, and at this first level you only have some silly beetles and your flies. And the beetles is more or less your tank-ish monster, and the fly is more of a ranged. So you want to send in your beetles first. Your enemies do come in waves, so once you've killed the first wave, be sure to lick your wounds and gather up the dropped gold and put it in your treasury. The final fight on each level is against the Lord of the Land. And as you see here, I got a nice little handful of beetles just ready for him. And this is where all of your hard work of building your evil dungeon comes to fruition, because killing the Lord of the Land is kinda satisfying. Just listen to that scream. You're going down, sucker.
Your minions are winning a battle.
When he's dead, then the level is basically complete, but be sure to pick up all the gold, because you want it for that lovely score on the scoreboard. In this level though, my noobish powers were way too strong for a spot on the high score table. This was just the first of many levels though. As you see, when the level starts up, I'm going for the exact same approach again. Locate the gold and start digging. This is also the issue I had with the game. For me it started to get very repetitive very fast. at least at the startup of each dungeon you had to build, because you get one new room and maybe one new monster later on in the level. But at the start you go through the same motions again and again and again. The new room for this level is a training room, which actually is kind of useful because you can level up your monsters, which is very handy later on when you actually do get to fight the Lord of the Land. And the new monster for this level is called Demon Spawn. Here you see my new Demon Spawn in action, really destroying this first wave. And this is also why the game manages to stay fun, because even though it is slightly boring and repetitive at the start of each level, when you do get to see your monsters in action and totally obliterate the knights, you just have fun. There are also some nice little treasure rooms that you can find here and there on the map, if only you're willing to go explore. Oh, it appears it's killing o'clock. The Lord of the Land has made his approach. You can die now.
Your creatures are falling in battle. Your minions are winning.
The new room for level 3 is a library, and having a library will attract warlocks. And the warlocks deal range damage, which is very nice. And in time, the research being done in the library will, among other things, give you a speed buff for your minions. And now it's time to see the new warlock in action. I've actually managed to attract a whole army of them.
Your minions are winning a battle.
The new room for level 4 is a workshop, which will attract trolls, which will then in turn research stuff for you. The two items that will be unlocked on this level, at least, is a door, which you can use to lock away some of your dungeon from intruders. Well, it's not really useful on this level, to be honest, but might be later in the game. And then you will get a bridge, and the bridge you will very much need in this level. And here's the nice bridge in action. But you probably want to be sure you have a reasonable armor before you actually put up this bridge on this level, because they will start storming you. But as you see, I was more than ready for these bastardos coming for my gold. While I make a little gauntlet of death here, I think it's time for me to recap my thoughts on the game. While I sit here in my little bubble of nostalgia, I must say the Dungeon Keeper just works. The mechanics works, the control works. The graphics, of course, is somewhat off what we would expect today, but it is 20 years old, so considering that, it looks pretty okay. And if you can get past the repetitiveness of the dungeon building at the start of each level, there is actually a lot of fun to be had here, and you can easily spend a couple of evenings in the company of these monsters. As a final verdict, I would give this game 3 out of 5 vintage joysticks. And let's end this video with me signing the top spot on the high score list. And if you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to leave a like and maybe even subscribe for more content in the future.